Okay, we got a few early birds. Maybe just to do a little check here, make sure everybody can hear me and see me. Let's see, Mark, would you mind sending me just a quick chat? Okay, good, awesome. All right, we'll wait for some folks to jump on. Okay, we'll get started in about another 5 minutes. We're a lot of people logging in now. Yes, good morning to everybody else. Wilson's crew, the MBS crew. Mark, you raise a good point. Just want to make sure I am recording this. Yeah, looks like it's recording. Yeah, good question, Robin. It actually is head trash, so I'm just tying it into the whole BAT triangle. So we are covering the topic at hand for sure. So yeah, this is a new platform we've migrated to. So we're working out the bugs. It's a great platform. Many of you have probably picked it up along the way. I know Zoom is good place to work right now. A lot of people are moving to remote meetings and webinars like this. So if you haven't investigated it, check it out. It's very easy to use. If I can use it, guys, it's easy to use. Darren, how do I set it to record? No worries. This is being recorded right now, and I think I've set it up so that all you need to do at the end of it is actually click on the original registration and you can re-look at it. But worst case, if that doesn't work, we'll have it saved and posted to our newly created YouTube channel for Sandler Maritime. So at the end of this, I'll make sure that gets taken care of. Yeah. All right. Okay, we'll just wait another minute or so. We had quite a few registered, and we're over the 50 mark already. So you're either all really bored or this is an important topic, one or the other. I'll go with the latter. So yeah, so just I guess some ground rules as everybody's kind of logging in here. I think I've set it so that you're all muted. And guys, this is going to be a bit of a different experience for me. For many of you that know us and what we do, we'll be doing this with a big smart board and back with all kinds of annotations, and we got speakers and microphones, and people are engaging, and we'll see people online and all that kind of stuff. So I want this to be as interactive as possible. I think we got to stay within reason though, because what I don't want to happen is for technical issues to creep up because of bandwidth. Like there's so many people utilizing Zoom and other platforms like this right now that bandwidth is starting to be a bit challenged. So I just ask you to keep your mics muted. I think they're already muted. But you know what? From time to time, maybe we'll just try it throughout the process here. Maybe I'll just call on somebody and say, unclick your mic and what do you think? Just to kind of keep the conversation going. I'm a big conversationalist, as many of you know. So keep your mics muted. Don't worry about your cameras. It's funny. We had a session yesterday with our regular crew, and a few of them said, "Oh, I don't want to put my camera on." So they paused it for a minute and went and cleaned themselves up a little bit. But everybody looked great. Let me assure you. So yeah, and so from an interactive standpoint, I just ask you to chat. There's going to be, I think I've got 1 or 2 polls in here, so that's pretty straightforward. You just click on the polls and we'll see the results. But when I ask, or even when I don't ask, I'm curious to hear your feedback as we go through this stuff. I think this stuff's pretty important. Just chat in communications, and I'll do my best to kind of keep an eye on it here. I'm a one-man show right now. We're all working from our home offices, and well, this isn't even, I'm actually in the basement right now. I just wanted to kind of set up, because I like to stand up when I do these things. So I'm usually upstairs in my home office. But anyway, enough about all of that stuff. So we're going to get started. Thanks for coming in, gang. I really appreciate it. So again, my name is Eric Fry, Sandler Training. Hopefully, a number of you have heard of Sandler and what we do, but let me assure you that there is no sales pitch, there's no call to action, there's no anything on any of these free sessions that we're putting on. This is just our way of keeping our skills sharp and just helping where we feel that help needs to be put out there. We're all going through some weird and challenging times right now. In some cases, for some businesses, it's a very exciting and busy time, which is great. So all I would ask is, to consider jumping on. I think this is the second of 6 free sessions that we're putting on, and we've aligned them to topics that I think are relevant to the times. All right. So this one is all about, I called it improving your batting average, and you're probably wondering, as one person was already, what the heck does that mean? So let's dig in. And again, I'll just kind of keep an eye on the chat. So if there's, I'll do my best to answer any questions this morning. So let's just keep it as communicative as we can. All right. So I think you'd agree with this. Sales, even at the best of times, can be challenging. There's a lot that goes into selling, and I often say that, sales is not the place to get your emotional needs met. I can't stress that enough. If you're in sales to feel good about yourself all the time and feel that, this is a piece of cake, maybe it is for some. I can tell you, I've been in sales all my life, and in sales leadership and management, and now a company owner in sales. It's not the easiest gig in the world, right? And look what's going on around us, all kinds of stuff. Right, stuff that's tough. I don't know what else to say. These are crazy friggin' times. These are nuts times right now. Nobody's ever seen anything like this, at least in my lifetime. What do we do? Well, I've heard a stat the other day. We get together on a national basis with Sandler, and even on an international basis, on a regular basis now, just to kind of share ideas and help each other through this. And a person raised an interesting stat. 20% of the people that are out there right now are doing everything they can to push the needle forward, to move the needle, to kind of figure this out and move through it and come out on the other side. Another 20% are scared to death, right? Well, that's probably 100%, but these other 20%, they're putting their heads in the sand, and they're hoping like heck, crossing their fingers and hoping that this is just going to blow by, right? And they'll be fine on the other side. And there's a huge chunk, at least arguably half, that they want to do something, but they just don't know what to do. They don't even know where to start. And they're getting overwhelmed, and they're just feeling, what do I do here? And so, I'm always of the belief that, hey, look, you know what? Don't kill yourself about all this uncontrollable systemic factors. I get it that, we're all in the same boat here. There's a bunch of uncontrollable factors out there that we can't touch, we can't do anything about, but it's the controllable stuff. I think that, that's where businesses like mine come in to help our clients focus on what's controllable, because by doing that, it makes us feel better. It makes us feel like we're moving the needle, or at least, doing everything that we can. So here's a little model that many of you that are familiar with Sandler, you've seen this 1,000 times. It's the BAT triangle, and our perspective on success is really what we'll call a three-legged stool. At the top, it's attitude. And from my perspective, gang, attitude is everything. We have our core values all set within our organization, and that's the first core value, attitude. That's how I hire, that's how I lead, and that's how I, expect and that's our culture within our business, is positive attitude. So attitude is your belief system about yourself, about your product, your service, your company, your clients, your territories, all of that stuff. So when you think about it, if we've got a crappy attitude, if we're behind the 8 ball right off the bat, it doesn't bode well for us. So this session is primarily going to be focused on that top pillar. The second is behaviors. Okay, so I've got a good attitude. I've got my head screwed on. I know that, I'm feeling at least somewhat in control. There's a lot of questions, a lot of unanswered stuff, but, I'm feeling good. What's my behavior plan look like? What should I do? And I can tell you from the calls that I've had with our clients in the last couple of days and last week, our behavior plans, they've changed dramatically. We call it a cookbook. We call it, what we need to do on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. And it's been altered. Behaviors are absolutely critical. So let's not forget the importance of behaviors in success. And then the third area, of course, is techniques. We got a whack of them that we teach. There's a bunch of them out there. How do I ask the right questions? How do I close for the business? How do I set mutual expectations and agreements with my clients? How do I? There's all kinds of techniques. So our belief is that these three pillars kind of come together and form a success triangle. So with that in mind, here's what I'm going to try to do this. We're going to do a little poll here. So you'll see this, and hopefully everybody can see this. All right, so I just want you to, which of the three, and maybe there's more than one, which are you struggling with most right now? Okay, it's kind of going fast and furious. Oh, this is pretty neat. Okay. All right. Okay, interesting. Can you guys see the results? Maybe just send me a chat. Can you see those? You can't. Okay. All right, I'm going to end the polling. But basically, we've got about 15% attitude, 33% behavior, and about half technique. So interesting. Okay. So that's, you know what, gang, I'm really encouraged by this, because that means that your head's still in the game. All right. That, you're not throwing in the towel, which is good. So maybe we should just end the session right now. I'm just kidding. Let's keep going. Share results. Okay. So again, sorry guys, can you see that now? Can you see these results? Got it? Yes. Okay, good. Yeah. So interesting. So most on the technique side, maybe I should switch the whole thing to technique, but no, you know what, we can do that. Stick with us on our future ones. You'll learn some techniques. All right. So good. Thank you for that. My belief is that attitudes and behaviors can have actually a more profound impact on our sales than techniques. I find that, listen, techniques are absolutely critical. Everybody knows what to do. I got to get more meetings. I've got to qualify more clients. I've got to, close more sales. But it's the how that people struggle with. So techniques, we're just going to park for today's session and really focus on the attitude side of things. Poll is in front of the slide. Okay. All right. Let me do another reshare here. Oh, I see. Okay. Is that better? Oh, all right. My error. Okay. So, attitudes and behaviors, they kind of intersect. So here's a very similar model that what we looked at before, just kind of a different graphic. So, attitudes and behaviors, we're going to focus on this area called head trash. And what we're going to start with is what I'd like you to do is just don't give me an example. We're going to get there. Just, if somebody said, what does head trash mean? Define the term. Define the term head trash. Chat some in, please. I'd like to understand from your standpoint what you feel that head trash is. Okay, thanks, Lori. Andrew, Chris, Luke. Stinking thinking. I love it. Yeah, Luke Kimball. Negativity, negative thoughts, limiting beliefs. Yeah, Nicole, that's a great one. Yeah. Letting unrealistic negative talk get in your way. Tracy, awesome. Yeah. Yeah, so listen, you guys got that. Everybody's got head trash. Everybody. And at certain times of the day, certain times of, your career, certain times of any time, it can go up and down. Got to be careful not to move too quickly, otherwise my hand disappears. So yeah, head trash is, it just rattles around up there in our heads, and it can pull us back. It can hold us back on what we ultimately should be trying to do, which is to kind of limit this and clear it away and gain clarity to, achieving our goals. So now, what is your head trash? Now, let me put some parameters around this. This, what you can't say is the economy. It's killing me. Well, it's killing everybody. Okay. Or, oh, the exchange rate, it's actually, it's more favorable now for those that are exporting. But, or the weather, right? It's got to be controllable stuff for you. What's holding you back, in between your ears, the 6 inches or whatever it is in between your ears, what's holding you back? I'll give you some examples just to kind of look at, and maybe you can chat in your own, or, you can consider one of those as an example. I'm just curious, 1, 2, or 3, maybe it's 1, 2, and 3, or maybe it's something totally different. So chat in your own examples of head trash. So now I wonder if everybody's talking about scared of the response, sensitive to what people are going through, so I don't want to appear to be selling. Yeah. Number two, nobody's buying anything. Yeah, I know. God, you're saying, Eric, Jesus, this is depressing. No, it's not meant to be depressing. Yeah, it's like we're actually gonna. Oh, I should have said that in my upfront contract. We are going to come out of this with some strategies and specific ideas to help clear out the head trash. Okay, so yeah, we all have it. I've got it, right? But I also know what's within my control and what isn't. So I need to manage my business with my team accordingly, right? So yeah, so lots of examples of head trash. Excellent. Okay. So here's just a little exercise. And, arguably you could have the technique side on this as well, attitudes, behaviors, and techniques. Just, take a minute. I just want to do a time check here. All right, we're good. Take a minute and just kind of think about this and think about yourself. And if you'd like to chat something in, or you know what, here's where we will, if you can click your mic on, I don't know if you can here, but if anybody wants to click their mic on and just say, you know what, I currently have this attitude, or I currently am doing this, and this is a behavior that I need to, adjust or change, or an attitude that I need to examine and replace. Would anybody like to contribute verbally? We'll cross our fingers that you can actually do this. Maybe I've set it up so you can't. You don't have a mic, and I don't think they can turn the mics on. Okay, all right. Well, see, this is one of the little tweaks that we need to adjust for future. But I think we've got like close to 90 people on here right now. So I don't know what the bandwidth is in my basement and that sort of thing. So probably not a bad idea. So this is more of a personal exercise, gang, for you to kind of take this away and think, you know what, I got this attitude. I gotta examine it and replace it. Right? Or I'm doing this, my behavior plan every day. We talked about this yesterday, in our sales program. Should I even be calling people? Should I be even following up with clients, as far as deals that are in the hopper, right? Should I be prospecting right now? And so let's just talk about this here. I guess I'll talk to myself about this, but this is pretty important, because I've heard a couple of schools of thought. I've heard, you know what, business is continuing. We still need to make our calls, and we still need to prospect for new business. And others have said, you know what, give people a break, no prospecting. Just put your arms around your current clients and nurture them, and reach out to have conversations. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. This is a great representative group of professionals that are out there that can help us figure some of this stuff out. I'm going to start to read some of these as quickly as I can. Both happen at the same time. Now's the time to prepare for the exit strategy. Okay, yeah, maybe, yeah, for sure. So obviously, Rob Brown is Rob, are you talking about exiting your business? Selling your business? Is this your business? Retention is more important, mostly important now. Yeah, Tracy, good point. Agree to reach out. Work on your LinkedIn contacts. Yeah, absolutely, Serge. Great point. Nicole, you can nurture your clients while helping them with what they need. Rob, no exiting the current situation. Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So for those of you that were on our Monday session, Curtis took you through LinkedIn. Curtis is a LinkedIn guru. We're lucky to have him. So he showed a number of strategies and tactics and techniques around LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a great tool. He schooled me, that's for sure. I got a lot of work to do on my page. I just haven't had a chance to get at it yet. But this week, it's in my cookbook to update my LinkedIn page and utilize that microphone feature and that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I can't approach this any other way other than to keep moving forward. I just can't. It's not within my nature to stop and pull back. I have to keep thinking about ways that we can, add value to our clients, right? And well, this is one example. Our team pulled together and said, what can we do? How can we help so that we are stronger, as are our clients and prospects and people that are just kind of logging in? How can we help them be stronger, when this passes? So Anyway, I'm rambling now, but it just kind of gets you thinking about some of this stuff. Yeah, some great stuff here. Yeah, looking at the next 30, 60, 90 days, forecasting every expense, where it's coming in. Yeah, absolutely. This is obviously not about, a financial discussion, but yeah, we went through that exercise, and my team, I'll tell you, I'm so proud of them. They really, really stepped up. Transparency is another core value that we have. And I said, guys, this is the situation. Here's the numbers. So here's what we all need to do to help us get through this. So yeah, good stuff. Excellent. All right, we're gonna keep rocking. Okay, let's talk a little bit about comfort zones. What is a comfort zone? Well, from the research that I've done and from my own perspective, I never like to take anything at face value. I always like to challenge it a little bit, but negative experiences such as this can lower our self-esteem, and it sucks when our self-esteem gets lowered, right? So what happens is that when our self-esteem takes a hit, this can lower our personal performance expectations, right? So I'm feeling bad, so I'm good. So because of that, it's affecting my actions and that sort of thing. So my performance expectations go down, and this lower standard is then we settle into a comfort zone, right? So a comfort zone, sure, it's kind of a weird term. It sounds like this zone where everything's great. It's not great. When you're in a comfort zone, you're not growing, and you're not challenging yourself or your clients or your prospects or your business, and you will not survive in the long term. That's my belief. So we constantly need to be challenging ourselves and making sure that we don't settle for substandard results and performance. And you're thinking, yeah, whatever, Eric, but it's true. Let me give you an example. So in my world, so this is, I'm kind of being vulnerable. I'm laying myself out here, right, with this example. So 20 years ago when I was with Xerox, some of you have heard this story, I think, but I was doing really well here in Atlantic. I got promoted. I moved out west and ran a couple of teams and that sort of thing. We had this big conference, probably 300 or 400 people, with all my peers, all the managers from across the country, the whole executive team, the president, everybody was in the room. We were all broken up into tables of, I don't know, 8 or 10 in this room, right? And I was pretty cocky at the time, right? Because I have a great career so far, and so I was a rock star in my own mind. So the facilitator, kind of like what I'm doing here, but the facilitator on the stage said, "Okay, you guys, I want you to at your tables talk about this and pick a presenter, and you got 15 minutes, and then we'll hear what you have to say. Everybody can do their presentation." I said, "Guys, I got this." All right. And so I made the notes and all this kind of stuff. And it just so happens that the table that I was at was right beside the stage, right up front. So 15 minutes goes by, I put finishing touches on the presentation. And he said, "Okay, who wants to go first?" And my hand shot right up. I said, "I got this." So I stood up and I turned around, and, what did I see? I saw 400 of my peers looking at me, waiting in anticipation about what I was going to say. And for the first time in my life, I froze. I thought, okay, my career is over. It was so bad, in my mind anyway, that I had to sit down, and my peer had to stand up and do my presentation. I thought, okay, my life's over, my career is over, all this kind of stuff. So you can imagine what that negative experience did to my self-esteem. It crushed me, to the point where I thought, okay, I've got to quit, or I'm going to get fired, or whatever. Of course, this was all, a bunch of head trash. So it lowered my personal performance expectations, and I started to avoid, certain things and that sort of thing, because I was falling into this dangerous comfort zone that's not good for anybody, right? So what I determined was that I can't let this define me. So I I joined Toastmasters. I took Dale Carnegie public speaking training. I looked for every opportunity to get up and talk and that sort of thing. And I dug myself out of this hole and constantly pushed through my comfort zone to develop myself. And arguably now I guess I do it for a living, right? So that's just a personal example of, the dangers, frankly, of, moving or not moving. Sorry, let me get this thing going here. Not moving out of your comfort zone. The danger isn't being in your comfort zone, or it's staying in the comfort zone, right? So we want to do everything that we can attitudinally in order to move out of that comfort zone. All right, let's talk a little bit about some self-talk. I don't know if anybody talk to themselves. Chat in. Yeah, every day. Yes, yeah. Self-talk can empower you or it can destroy you. All right, I talk to myself quite a bit, kind of as I'm doing here right now, but actually, even when I'm by myself, I tend to talk out loud and I talk to myself. Now, what's most of what we tell ourselves? What's the kind of the context of most of what we tell ourselves when we talk to ourselves? Anybody care to chime in on that one? Most of what we tell ourselves when we speak with ourselves. Sorry, I lost that chat thing here. Oh, there we go. Is negative. Right? And it just so happens to be, I think it's human nature that, it's all self-improvement. So most of our self-talk is typically negative. I've heard upwards of 98%. Right? 98% of what we tell ourselves is negative. What does it sound like when things are going great? Man, I remember being on some sales roles, and I was selling stuff. It was weird. Like every Friday afternoon, I'd get a big order when I was at Xerox. I remember cruising along in my car with the radio cranked and just feeling like $1,000,000. I was invincible, right? So that was the self-talk that I was giving myself. But lo and behold, all of a sudden you get into this rut when things aren't going well, and then you start to talk negatively to yourself. Now listen, I am not a psychologist. I can tell you that really quickly. But there's a concept out here. We call it the IR theory. I'm just doing a little bit of a screen rejig here to make sure. Difference between who you are and what you are. Well, how's that for a bunch of grammatical errors? But what we call it is identity versus role. And let's face it. If you don't like what you see when you look at yourself in the mirror, you're kind of starting behind the 8 ball. I would argue. So your identity is you. Your identity is your values, what you believe in, the way we think about ourselves. Right? It's our self-image. And think about it. When we're young kids, our identity is a 10 out of 10. We think, oh yeah, I'm invincible. I'm going to be an astronaut. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And and then as we get older, we start to kind of and go through specific roles, whether it's a parent or a manager or a salesperson or whatever. There's blips that we have in our life, whether it's professionally or personally. And the roles are simply the labels of what we do, right? And here's the rub point. Here's the problem, is that too many people confuse their identity and their role. So when things go bad, I suck, oh, I'm terrible. Oh, I lost that big deal. Man, I thought I was a good salesperson. Obviously, I'm awful, right? So that's back to the negative talk. We confuse role versus identity. Your identity is who you are. You are a 10 out of 10. Now I'm honestly not trying to sound like Anthony Robbins, nor could I. But it's true. Our identity needs to be kept whole. We are going to screw up and things are going to happen around us where our roles are impacted and affected. This is not on us. Even when we screw up as a manager, or we've had a terrible coaching session with an employee, or we've run a really bad meeting, or we've had a negative interaction with a client, or we lost a big deal or whatever. You got to learn from it. There's no failures. It's just a bunch of learnings along the way. All right. So identity versus role is, I think it's a really important point, which kind of brings us back to the attitude triangle. Now, this is where we're going to focus on balance of session. I'm going to leave some time at the end just to make sure that we answer anybody's questions. And let me just keep an eye on the chat thing here. Yeah, okay. So attitude. All right. Hey, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. This is called a belief wheel. Because who's kidding who? What was it? Henry Ford, who said, if you believe you can or you can't, you're absolutely 100% correct, right? So when you believe something's true, you're going to act in ways that are going to make it true. When you believe something won't happen, you're going to act in ways that it will not happen. Yoda said that, apparently. Thanks, Luke. Don't remember which episode that was, but yeah, wow, geez, on Yoda, this is awesome. So when you approach something like this shitstorm that we're in with possibility, you can turn some of these possibilities into realities. I mean, arguably, I don't know if anybody's getting anything out of this session, but arguably, I'm approaching this as, hey guys, it's not all bad. And maybe you're going to take some things away and agree with that philosophy that I live by and that my team lives by. I mean, that would be an example. So let's kind of go through what this means from a negative standpoint. So what's my outlook? What's my outlook on it? And let's relate it to COVID-19. I hate even saying that term anymore. But one outlook could be, I'm screwed. This is crappy. I'm not coming out of this, and which is going to lead to beliefs of, hey, look, whatever I do, it's not going to make a difference, which is going to lead into judgments as well as, well, listen, I mean, we're not coming out of this, so I might as well pack it in. And then your actions are going to support that whole outlook, belief, and set of judgments. So I'm just going to sit it out and wait to see how this turns out. So obviously, and I can virtually be certain that nobody on this session feels like this. I'm hoping, right? Now, do we feel a little bit like this sometimes? Naturally, yes, I get it, right? Because again, these are some systemic things that are in our way, but I believe that we can do some things to continue to maintain a positive outlook while we go through this. Because you can imagine if everybody had the same negative outlook, yeah, nothing would happen. Let's say the government and the politicians said, well, nothing we can do about this, so no sense doing any daily updates or stats or anything, so let's just let it run its course. That's never going to happen, right? So I think we have accountabilities as well as people in sales and people in leadership roles to turn this into a positive, belief wheel. Our belief at Sandler, we're going to come out on top of this, right? So we're putting steps in place, and we're, considering our own financials and our own clients and our own, prospects that when this is over, whether it's 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, whatever, that we're going to come out on top of this thing. We're going to survive through this because our beliefs is, yeah, listen, I probably watch way too much press on this, and I think maybe it was Tamara a little while ago said something about the negative beliefs with the press, and this is what they get paid to do, right? To stir up stuff, and that's what sells according to them. I'm not a subscriber of that. I think there should be more positive stuff in the press. So this too shall pass. My mom always says that, says that about everything. So she's got a natural belief system, a positive belief system. So the judgments that I'm going to make here are, you know what, I'm going to stay focused, productive, positive. I'm going to keep moving forward. And we heard some great examples of that yesterday and Monday on a couple of sessions that we did for our sales teams, where people said, you know what, I'm adjusting my cookbook. I'm doing less of this and more of that. And I think Tracy said, putting your arms around current clients and just making them, feel good. But, actions, I'm going to bring value to my clients, and I'm going to bring value to my relationships, right? Personally, professionally, the whole works. Everybody is in this together. I know that sounds a little bit cliche-ish, but even when you're working from home now and the struggles of working from home, I did a segment, I don't know if anybody saw it on the news on Monday. They were looking for some tips about, working from home and that sort of thing, but just maintaining a routine so that you can be present and staying positive, and not overworking, not working into the evenings and that sort of thing if you don't have to, but kind of shutting it down, just like you're at your office, and then coming home and being present for your family. So there's a personal action that you can bring for your family relationships. Anyway, I'm probably going a little bit too deep in this whole thing, but I'm just a huge proponent of keeping a positive outlook on this. Yeah, Barb, great point. What else is possible? Even if you called your clients, your best clients, and said, hey, look, just checking in. How are you doing? Right? This isn't a sales call. I'm just genuinely interested. Listen, is there anything that we can do to help you, or any way that we can provide additional service to you, right? Maybe, and we heard that the other day, maybe it's, Terry, big time, offer to be of better service. So less sales and more service, right? Let's help each other get through this. Okay, so this is one of the ways that we're helping. I hope this is helping anyway, maybe putting some positive context out there in the marketplace and that sort of thing. So I would encourage you to pay it forward, and I'm not asking you to go out and say, oh, Sandler rocks, all that kind of stuff, but take some of these concepts and apply them, and then maybe those other people will apply similar concepts and that sort of thing, right? So we're all trying to help each other. Because look, we got a choice. We can either be, like Barb said, what else is possible, right? What else can we do to make stuff happen? Or we can be one of limitation, and let's cut, and let's, bury our head in the sand and prevent anything possible from happening. And this is back to the controllable, guys. Like, this is within our control. We can choose whether we're going to maintain a positive outlook on this whole thing or a negative outlook on this whole thing. Because if you remember the triangle, attitude and behavior, my belief is that when our attitude is struggling here a little bit, we can behave our way into a more positive attitude. So when our attitude, you guys came up with your own head trash examples, my clients don't want to hear from me, or nobody's buying right now, or, all this kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden you start reaching out, whether it's through LinkedIn or whether it's just a thank you for the business call, or look, I just wanted to check in and see how you're doing. That's a behavior. That's an activity that you're doing that will then impact your attitude about what's going on around us. So don't let your attitudes determine your behaviors. Let your behaviors determine your attitude. And that's kind of the point of this slide here. How you act that determines how you feel. Because if we don't do any behaviors and we sit and watch CNN all day, well, pack it in, guys, because it's probably not going to end well. If we stay focused and productive and time block things in our calendars for, I'm going to call 5 of my best clients this afternoon and just have a conversation with them, right? Or I'm going to set up a little Zoom thing. Maybe that's an action, right? Set up your own little Zoom thing or FaceTime or whatever. Reach out, face-to-face kind of, virtual, obviously, communications. So attitude impacts behavior, behavior impacts attitude. It's a two-way street, right? So yeah, I think we've kind of chatted about that. All right. So I'm curious, back to you guys, because I've been doing way too much talking here. What are some ways that you guys have gotten rid of your own head trash? Right? We all say we've got head trash, but think about, 3 weeks ago before any of this stuff happened. Yeah, sure, we still had head trash. I don't want to make too many calls. I don't want to bother people, or I don't want to ask too many questions, or whatever your head trash might be. Right? What are some ways that you have gotten rid of your own head trash in the past? Jeff says, step away, shake your head, turn up the tunes, jump on the treadmill. Yeah, okay, take a little break. Yeah. Tracy, starting my day getting dressed for business, big time. Yeah, I'm not just doing this for you guys. This is kind of how I dress. Don't take that the wrong way. But yeah, play the part, right? If you get up and kind of roll out of bed and grab your coffee and sit in your jammies all day, I'm not sure that that's really the best way to to kind of approach this whole thing. Andrew Bond says exercise or vacation. Daryl Offrey, I talk to my favorite clients. Yeah, that's a great one. Talk to your favorite clients, right? Have these conversations. Meditation. Yeah, you know what? I have that on my vision board, my goal board, to learn to meditate. And I say learn because I'm struggling with that one. I got so much going on up here that I can't seem to take the time to sit down and clear my head for 15 minutes and just meditate. But it's something that I should probably learn to do, right? That's a good one for sure. Okay, all right, we're on track here. Yeah, so we've all got ways of getting rid of our own head trash. We all recognize that we have it. We all have ways that we can get rid of it. Here are some other ideas, some other ways of staying positive, keeping that attitude nice and high, which is, back to Robin's original question. I thought we were doing head trash. Yeah, we are, right? Because head trash is related to attitude. So how do I, how can I remove some of this head trash? Well, you guys just talked about a number of awesome ways. Here's some other ways. I find that making decisions is very liberating. Making decisions, if we procrastinate or if we just hold off on making decisions, the longer that we take, and I'm not suggesting go out there and make a bunch of reckless decisions, but make it based on the information that you have at the time. And some of this comes down to DISC. For those that are familiar with DISC, high C's are very analytical and they tend to take a little longer and even S's in making decisions, but make them because it's going to make you feel better. Boom, that one's behind me. I probably had 80 or 90% of what I needed to make the decision. I'm good with it. All right, so there's one example. Just clicking properly here. Yeah, recognize and maintain good habits. I think it was Ben Ross yesterday on the call said, you know what, I've changed up my cookbook, right? I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And based on some of the techniques and that sort of thing that I've learned from the Monday LinkedIn session, I'm going to incorporate a bunch of that, right? So maintain good habits, good behavior, activity habits. And this is back to that triangle, that behavior, attitude, and technique. Okay, so recognize what's going well and maintain that even through difficult times. Behaving your way into that positive attitude, right? Let's clear out that head trash. Keeping your identity a 10 out of 10, right? Don't let anything pollute how you feel about yourself, right? Whether it's external factors or whether it's internal stuff or whatever, right? So keeping that a 10 out of 10, knowing that your role, let your role take the beating, but learn the mistakes from your role and keeping your identity a 10 out of 10. I don't know, curious, does anybody journal? Nobody has mentioned it so far. I don't. My wife journals every day. Tracy says yes. I know a lot of people do it, and a lot of people really get a lot of benefit out of it because they can kind of go back and look at, what worked well and what's, how am I feeling? And then they can kind of put themselves back into that good positive frame of mind and that sort of thing. So there's another idea. Stop the negative talk. Quit beating ourselves up all the time. I used to beat myself up a lot, but now I do more positive affirmations. Maybe that's my form of meditation. I don't know, but you know what? My goal is to be my best and do my best to everybody all the time, whether it's my family, my friends, my clients, and that sort of thing. So I do everything in my power to deliver as best that I can. And I keep telling myself that. That's why I prepare and try to put on good service and that sort of thing, and just good interactions with people, regardless of who they are. So lots of positive affirmations. This is one here. Listen, every one of you is an expert in what you do. All right. And I would probably guess that whether it's at work or whether it's with family or friends, or if you're volunteering and that sort of thing, somebody could use your help, whether it's your professional help or your, some personal expertise and that sort of thing. This makes you feel good when you're mentoring somebody. I know some of you on the line, like Tyler Noseworthy, he's a big hockey coach, right? So he's mentoring people all the time. And Tyler, I can only imagine that this makes you feel good. That's why you do it. You take it very, very seriously. You travel long distance every day to do this. Maybe not now. I don't know if it's shut down or not. But anyway, when it's up and running. So mentoring somebody. And here's one other thing. Try to do one uncomfortable thing every day. You heard my story about, the whole public speaking and all that kind of stuff. That really stretched the hell out of my comfort zone and moved me out of my comfort zone for sure. So think about one thing that you could do that will stretch your comfort zone and move yourself forward every day. So there are some ideas. This will be posted along with the recording on our, we'll make sure that you guys get a copy of this anyway. So just to begin to wrap up here, they need us more than ever right now. It kind of came to light, when was it? Yesterday, I guess. I think it was Ben on the call, Ben Ross. He said, you know what? I mean, stuff that we do, whether it's with our leadership program or sales or customer service or coaching and all that kind of stuff, this stuff is needed. And it kind of resonated with me. So thank you for that, Ben, for sure. That's why we're doing stuff like this. So I hope I hope it is helping. We just need to ensure that we're nurturing, we're empathetic, and we're listening, right? Whether it's with current clients or reaching out on LinkedIn or even calling, God forbid, this time, calling prospects and that sort of thing, but just listen. Don't try to really push or sell or anything. And that, you guys know from people that have been through Sandler, that's not what we do. So I think it's more important, even more than ever, to change our approach and our communication style with clients and with prospects. So, I have no doubt that you can all thrive even in difficult times. So, hey guys, time to take out the trash, right? So think about those things that you wrote down. think about and even consider to write some more stuff down. What is in my head that could be holding me back? And, you know, compartmentalize it, get rid of it, take the trash out. Okay, so one thing that I would like to do just before we wrap up, maybe before we get into this, let me just kind of, well, open it up. I obviously we can't hear you, but any questions that I can answer? We got about 10 minutes left, and oftentimes this is when some really good stuff comes out because it's your, you know, it's meaningful for you because it's your questions. What questions can I answer before we just do a little quick chat in of maybe a takeaway that you've taken out today? Any questions? My team has been looking for LinkedIn training. Is there a link to the previous session on YouTube as well? Thanks for your positivity today. Thank you, Andrew. Yes. So Mark, I believe, is putting out something to, it's a link to our YouTube site, and the whole recording is on there. The first couple of minutes, I don't think it's silence. Don't think that the sound's not working, because then it kicks in. So it's all there, Andrew, for sure. Yeah. Keep your head up. Keep on moving forward. You help keep me positive. Oh, good. Thanks. Excellent session on YouTube now. Yeah, I'd love a YouTube training session. So Nicole, yeah, go to our YouTube channel there. Reinforces my approach. What I think. Good. Takeaway: remain active, be of service, create value, be prepared to share the pain. Yeah, Terry, bingo, buddy. You've been doing this a long time as well. So that's great perspective. Talking with your team. Yes. Yeah, I was on a great session the other day. Whatever you're doing monthly, do weekly. Whatever you're doing weekly, do daily. Right? Whatever you're doing daily, do it more often. So we as a team now, we used to meet just once a week. We're meeting every single day now, just to kind of, you know, keep communication going, and do it through Zoom. Sign up. Zoom is free, or this is a paid version because it's doing webinars and that sort of thing. But you know, do face-to-face. We had a virtual happy hour the other day with my EO group, and it was awesome, right? Everybody's there, sipping wine, chatting, having chats, and that sort of thing. Develop new behaviors. Good to have these sessions, all dealing with this together. You betcha, you betcha. So our next session, it's Friday. So yeah, that's all I ask you to do. Consider joining in. Mark, maybe there's a way that we can put on the put the links up on the YouTube site, or something along those lines, just to make it easy for people. I think we've got your email addresses because you've logged in, so maybe we can. I'll use this list to push out the links to the next sessions. But yeah, sign in, guys, and yeah, very sure. When can we expect to have training on techniques? Oh, Jeffrey McDowell, geez, you want everything, huh? We call that unpaid consulting. But no, in all seriousness, Jeffrey, you'll learn some things probably on Friday. You know, a lot of what we're learning here, guys, is pretty high level, because obviously we don't want to share our whole paid training programs with everybody. So we're just taking kind of bits and pieces, just to kind of give you a sense of some general concepts that can kind of help you through this. That make sense, Jeffrey? Oh, yeah, yes, okay, got it. Good. Well, listen, that gives us about 5 minutes to the end. So how about I give you 5 minutes back in your hectic days? Listen, be well, be safe, be healthy, and really appreciate the interaction and the engagement. I hope this added value. So everybody have a great rest of the week, and hopefully we'll see many of you, if not all of you, on Friday morning. Okay? So long, everyone. Take care.